Chapter 5, Everybody's Got a Boss. As the ever-present sound of sirens cut through the night, you rush out to the ambulance bay to meet the incoming patient. Talk to me. 16-year-old male drove through the median and caused a head-on collision on the highway. Teenager driving in oncoming traffic on a clear night. Any drugs or alcohol visible at the scene? No, but we did have to give him seizure meds en route. He was convulsing when fire got him out. Something's not right here. The only question is what? As you dismiss the EMT and wheel the patient inside, your attending meets you to begin the assessment. Alright, what do you see? Well, the airbag impact left a deep bruising across his chest, and broken glass has opened a series of cuts along his face and neck. You run your hands along his skull, feeling nothing at first, but as you press near his temple, get the CT on the line, tell them we got a priority clearance, and somebody page neuro. What are you thinking? The reaction to a light press, there's something wrong with his brain. In CT, you stand shoulder to shoulder with Dr. Wall, studying the scans. Not only is there internal bleeding from the crash, but look at the mass in the temporal lobe. The size of it alone looks like we found what triggered the seizure. Someone should have caught this before it got bad. How does this happen? Before Dr. Wall can answer, a commotion outside draws your attention, and a woman's voice rises above the usual hospital noise. Please. They said he was in an accident. They brought him here. Jason Morton? He's my son. More important than assigning blame, someone has to tell his next of kin. He's my patient, I should do it. But how? Well, there is no right way. Being clinical might help her process the facts, but this isn't about facts. This is her child. Just remember, you're the authority in this situation. If you're worried, she will be too. You'll have to feel it out. Dr. Wall gestures towards the door, and you head out to find the mother, pacing the waiting room. Oh, are you the doctor? Can I see my son? Is he okay? Should be professional. Straighten your spine and offer her the scans in hand. Miss Morton, your son is stable, but I need to show you something from his CT scan. You help her hold the film to the light, and as the dark spot emerges, you point to the mass. The tumor in his temporal lobe caused a seizure while he was driving. That's what led to the accident. Seizure? Given the size and location, I'm surprised this is the first time it's being brought to your attention. But it's not. I'm sorry. We found it last year, during his football physical. The doctor said he'd need an operation, that Franklin Memorial was our best chance. Pulls out a wrinkled business card for the neurology attending Dr. Richards from her wallet with trembling fingers. But insurance denied the coverage. Said because he could live with it, it wasn't medically necessary. He was saving to pay out of pocket. Look down at the scans, in your hands, thinking of all the patients you've watched struggle against the system. One that your hospital and ultimately you can't help but be a part of. You grit your teeth. All his trauma injuries require immediate surgery. Your insurance won't have any choice but to cover those. But as the words come out of your mouth, something clicks in your mind and you study the scans again. On the second look, I don't think this dark spot is a tumor at all. In fact, it looks like a brain bleed, probably caused by the crash. I just told you. And like I said, emergent surgery is covered. Miss Morton pauses, bewildered, before suddenly catching your meaning. For one split second, her face is pure joy. Then, the risk, the last surgeon said he might not survive. If we don't operate soon, his chances are going to be a lot slimmer. The choice is yours, but we need to decide quickly. You all sign on, clearly thinking, and when she speaks again, her voice is quiet. He wanted to play football his freshman year, but I told him no. It's all the studies about CTE and concussions and shot him down cold, only to give in last year and get the bad news. I was so scared of something happening to him that I might have killed him by waiting. You were trying to protect him, but now we have a chance to help him, really help him, and I'll be by his side the whole time. I promise. With tears in her eyes, Miss Morton looks at her son's scans and back at you, determination pouring off of her. Then go save him, whatever it takes. Hours later, the steady beep of monitors and the hum of surgical equipment fill the OR as you near the finish line on Jason's trauma surgery. Last bleeder located. Clamp. Clamping. Good. Now, let's wrap this up and get Mr. Richards in here. I want his mom. I know his mom can't wait to see her kid. But as you peer into the cavity, you find your vision obscured by blood. BP dropping. Damn it, there must have been another bleeder deeper in. I could try to close it fast, but working blind like this, one wrong stitch and I could make it worse. Or, if his pressure holds, I could try for a proper repair. It'd take longer, but it might be his best chance. Doctor! Work fast, even if it's messy. Take the time to do it right. We need better visualization, more suction, and I need an extra clamp. But his pressure will crash completely if we don't fix this properly. I need to see what I'm doing. Sweat beads on your forehead as you work methodically, each movement precise, despite the urgency. BP critical 75/45. Almost there. Just need to isolate the vessel. Doctor, he's barely maintaining. Got it. Clamp now. Nurse moves instantly and you begin carefully placing each stitch. BP rising. 85, 90. Stabilizing at 110/70. That's what proper repair looks like. As you close the final sutures from the trauma repair, Dr. Richards enters already studying the latest scans. Here we've got quite a case here. Internal injuries are stable now. He's ready for you. You step back, watching as Dr. Richards positions Jason's head and begins marking precise lines on his scalp. Our temporal approach should give us the best access. You've seen this procedure before? Only in videos during training. Then a word to the wise. Most surgeons find this part unsettling. The bone saw whirs to life, zipping through the boy's skull, and as you assist Dr. Richards in removing the tissue beneath pulses, would you look at that? What a beautiful brain. Beautiful tumor, you mean. The size of it alone is staggering. Which is exactly why the next part is so interesting. Let's reduce anesthesia. Begin the wake-up procedure, please. You're waking him? With his brain exposed. Yup. For a procedure as delicate as this, we need him awake, because his reactions will tell us exactly where we can and can't cut. As the anesthesiologist reduces the sedation, Jason's eyes flutter open. Where am I? You're in surgery, Jason. We need you to stay very still and answer some questions for us. Now, I'm going to touch different areas of your brain. Tell me if you see, hear, or feel anything unusual. Dr. Richards begins carefully mapping the brain's surface with a probe. You watch fascinated as Jason describes each sensation. Everything just went blue. Now I smell oranges? My left hand's tingling. This is incredible. Each millimeter tells us something vital. You know, I could use an assistant up in here if you're interested in learning the procedure. By the way, in case you're wondering, this is actually what happens during brain surgery. Surprise, in case you didn't know. Tell me everything. That's what I like to hear. Come on over to this side. Move to Dr. Richard's position, carefully studying the exposed brain tissue beneath the surgical microscope. See how the tissue changes color here, the subtle differences in texture? Is that the border between healthy and damaged tissue? Exactly. The brain creates natural barriers, Delisle scarring around anything it perceives as a threat. You adjust the microscope focus, revealing more detail. But we can't always distinguish scar tissue from healthy tissue by sight alone. That's why we need him awake. He demonstrates with the probe, touching a specific point on Jason's brain. Whoa, my fingers are tingling! That's his motor cortex, or the area controlling movement. This is what we need to work around. Should probe the same area slightly left, closer to the tumor. Slightly to the left, closer to the tumor. Carefully probe closer to the tumor's edge, holding your breath. How's that? Cinnamon. I can smell cinnamon. Temporal lobe. You've got good instincts. That's exactly where we need to be. So the scent responses mean we're right on target. Good to know. Your confidence grows with each successful probe. Now, for the actual removal, the sequence is critical. Let me through it. Alright, first we identify the tumor boundary through electrical stimulation, and we test the surrounding tissue for function. Finally, we make our cut. And we repeat that process millimeter by millimeter? Yes. Exactly. Why don't you give it a try? Alright, so it's test, identify, cut, if I'm not mistaken. Reach for the probe to test the area, but Dr. Richards stops you. Think about it. How can we test the surrounding tissue if we haven't identified the tumor boundary first? Shh. Oh, I see my mistake. Let me try again. Identify, test, and cut. Carefully identify the tumor's edge with the probe and test each surrounding area for vital function. And here is where I would make a precise cut on the safe tissue. Now you're thinking like a neurosurgeon, ready to put it into practice. This is one thing they don't let you do, though. You know, just, hey, look, you're someone new, let's do neurosurgeon. Dr. Richards steps back, giving you space at the surgical field. Remember, the patient's responses are your guide. Every millimeter matters. No pressure or anything. Yeah, you may cripple this person for a life. They may never use their arms, legs, they may never taste anything the same. They may never have taste at all. You position yourself carefully, acutely aware of Jason's exposed brain beneath your hands. Is everything okay? Everything's fine, Jason. We're going to take this nice and slow. Surgical microscope reveals every detail of the tissue before you. I can't afford any mistakes here. I need to do this the right way, the first time. Cautiously. It is a person's brain, after all. You work methodically, testing each millimeter before making any moves. Good. Patience is key in neurosurgery. Keep tasting metal. That's our guide, Jason. Every sensation tells us where we are and where we can't go. Your careful approach takes longer, but each cut is precise. Better take an extra hour than risk a single mistake. Excellent philosophy. You're treating the brain with the respect it deserves. Can I try a cut now? Be my guest. You reach for the scalpel, but before you're able to continue, a circulating nurse appears in the doorway of the OR. Doctor, I have an urgent call for you. I'm in the middle of brain surgery. Literally. Can you ask whoever it is to leave a message? I did, but he insisted it couldn't wait. Your stomach drops. There's only one person who would dare to interrupt you during surgery, and only one reason he would. You scrub out, then step in the hallway and the phone feeling heavy in your hand. Dom, what's going on? Is your dad okay? He's still breathing. I, on the other hand, have a different problem. You can't help but notice his whispering, and then suddenly in the background you hear a flurry of harsh bangs. Your stomach drops. Is that gunfire? Dom, where the hell are you? They'll send you the coordinates, but Gray, hurry. The thought of Dom lay down on the cold concrete drives you to rush towards the exit, already planning the fastest route to the coordinates. He texted. Hang on, Dom. I'm coming. Dr. Gould. The voice stopped you cold, and you turn to find Miss Morton rising from the seat in the waiting room, her face panicked. What's wrong? Why aren't you in surgery? The tear in her voice makes your guilt surge, and you quickly scramble to put her back at ease. Nothing's wrong. Jason's doing great, I promise. I just need to step out for a... Step out? You said you'd be there. You promised you wouldn't leave him. I know, but... Miss Morton? I had a family emergency. My mother was just rushed to the ER. A lie tastes bitter on your tongue, but her face instantly softens. Oh, I'm so sorry. Go. I wish her the best of luck. Her immediate compassion makes your guilt surge higher. Great, now I'm betraying her trust and taking advantage of her kindness. Thank you. And you're running down the hospital hallway, headed for disaster and hoping that, against hope, you're enough to keep it at bay. The coordinates Dom sent you lead you to an empty parking garage in the outskirts of the city. No buildings, no people, just darkness. A sharp rap on your window makes you nearly jump out of your skin. Oh, hey, great. I was wondering when you'd get here. Neil, thank God. What's the emergency? Probably better if I show you. He leads you to what looks like a maintenance door set into a concrete barrier. And the door opens to reveal an underground facility. Monitors line one wall showing different angles of what appears to be some kind of obstacle course. Welcome to the family training grounds. But Dom said, before you can finish, you spot James slumped in the corner, clutching his knee. Time, Doc. This thing's killing me. This is the emergency? Yeah, I'm right. It feels like my effing knee exploded. What happened? I was running the course, tripped over something in the dark, came down hard on my knee. Roll up his pant leg to find bruising down his shin and a shattered joint. Oof. Looks terrible. But then you go to the ER. Dom said he didn't need to. That's what we have Gray for. Anger floods your veins, warming you throughout. He pulled me out of brain surgery for a training accident. When I see Dom, a broken knee, I think I learned proper bone setting technique. But dutifully, you push it down and begin your examination, carefully checking the joint's range of motion. It's like hell, Doc. I need to see how bad it is. Try to hold still. First step is to realign the joint. Stabilize with a splint. Check for proper blood flow. Alright, so if I'm not mistaken, it's check for blood flow, realign the joint, which he's really gonna love, and then stabilize if I'm not mistaken, but here we go. You check the pulse in his foot, confirming blood flow hasn't been compromised. Good, no vascular damage. I can walk it off. No, not even close, but at least we know it's safe to proceed. You're not gonna like this. This might hurt a bit. Carefully manipulate the joint back into its proper alignment, and James yells out in pain. Damn it, you call that a little? Listen, when they say maneuver it back in the joint, we snap that bitch back in, let's be honest. Sorry, it had to be done. You got this, Doc? Almost there. You secure the splint with a practiced efficiency, ensuring the joint stays perfectly aligned. The splint will keep it stable until you get proper imaging. Oh, hey. Starting to feel better, Doc. Not bad, Gray. Not bad at all. As you clean up your supplies, you lock eyes with Neil. Where is he? and don't play coy. Dom and Teresa are testing the new course layout. It shouldn't be long, though. He's kind of a prodigy. You point to the monitor, and as you draw near, you spot a familiar silhouette, and your irritation falters. Dom moves like liquid shadow through the course, each powerful muscle rippling beneath his fitted shirt. You find yourself leaning closer to the monitor, watching the precise control. Teresa appears, Dom drops into a roll. The movement showcases his broad shoulders, the dangerous grace of his frame as he takes cover. The way he moves, like a dance, but deadlier. Dom emerges from the cover, his body arching in a graceful twist as he fires. Teresa's stomach blooms with pain. She falls to her knees. Dom stands over her, preparing for a kill shot, all coiled power and heaving chest and dangerous grace. Unbidden heat pools low in your belly, your thighs pressing together of their own accord as you imagine yourself on your knees in front of him. As the hard cement bites at your skin, Dom towers over you, forcing you to look up at him as he loads one last round. Any last words? Did you really think I would beg? In your mind, you tilt your chin up defiantly, meeting his gaze. You'll have to work harder than that. I hoped you would, but now that you've said you won't. Tom's eyes darken with desire as he presses the training weapon under your chin and drags it under until it's against your mouth. You paw your lips, tease your tongue out, tasting the hardened steel. I can't wait to drag it out of you. Do your worst. His sharp inhale makes heat flood through you, and when he speaks, his voice is rough with want. Brain, breaking you is just the beginning. Oh my god. Oblivious to the desire, making himself at home within, Neo claps your shoulder, bringing you back to reality. Don't worry, we're using training rods. They sting, leave a mark, but no real harm done. As Neil speaks, Dom pulls the trigger, ending Teresa's time on the course. As he howls off the sweat beating on his chest, you pull yourself together. Focus, Gray, you're supposed to be angry right now. Forcing your attention back to rage, you activate the comm system on the control board and suddenly a microphone crackles to life. Since when is a training injury an emergency that couldn't wait, Dom? For a moment, you see him pause on the monitors, if not quite sure what he's hearing. Then his voice comes through smooth as silk. I never said there was an emergency. I said you should hurry and get here because I needed you. I left a 16-year-old with an exposed brain on the operating table to be here. You can't just... Dom pauses, looking right into the camera, and even though the grainy footage, his dominance is captivating. That's where you're wrong, Gray. I can and will, because you are mine, to do with as I please. Have I made myself clear, or do I need to come up there? I wish you would. What? Before you can respond, Teresa bursts through the door to the control room, covered in welts and paint marks. It's impossible. He knows where we are before we do. I told you, Dom's unbeatable. As Teresa throws down her training gun, you can't help but eye it. Maybe it's time that changed. You reach for the weapon. And as your fingers close around it, your pulse quickens. It's not real, these paint rounds, no one gets hurt. Still, your hand trembles slightly as you pick it up. You sure about this, Doc? No, but someone needs to teach your brother a lesson about respect. Good luck. Still, he hands you an earpiece from the control panel and gestures towards the door to the arena. The darkness of the playing field swallows you as you descend the stairs, and a familiar silhouette calls out to you from the void. Well, isn't this a surprise? Never thought I'd see you pick up a weapon, even a training one. Things change when someone pulls me out of surgery for no good reason. emerges from the shadows, moving with that deadly grace that makes your pulse quicken, and as his gaze lands on the gun, he quirks an eyebrow. So you came down here to what? Teach me a lesson? Yes, mostly about valuing other people's time, but I see you could use a refresher on having too big of an ego, too. One problem with that logic, Ray. He raises his arms to gesture to the room around you, but never once do his eyes leave yours. This is my domain. Feeling brave, you stalk closer, reveling in its intensity as he watches you with every move. One shot, that's all I need. If I hit you, you apologize for today. His eyes darken with interest, and he returns your challenge, invading your space to growl. And when you don't land a single shot, his fingers traces your lower lip, making you shiver. I don't want to hear that mouth of yours talking back ever again. Be careful. I bite. You bare your teeth in warning, and his eyes flash with heat. Promise. The two of you take your positions on the opposite sides of the arena, and as Dom signals the control room, Neil chimes in on your earpiece. You really stepped into it this time, didn't you? I don't know what you're talking about. Your brother's going down. We'll see. For a moment, he disappears from your ear, then overhead Neil's voice booms from over the loudspeaker. The challenge is for Gray to land one shot. All areas of the arena are open, no holds barred. Listen for my voice at all times. And, as with all time in the arena, the only rule is to be the last. 10-minute timer starts now. As the game begins, the darkness feels alive with possibility, and you navigate around obstacles, creeping near to Dom's last known position. Now, where is he? It doesn't escape you that every shadow could be him, and with every soft sound, your heart races. You know what I love about this arena? His voice comes through your earpiece, slick and sultry. But as you feel a whoosh of air and paint splatters the wall beside your head, you startle and sink into a crouch. He's close. The way it makes my opponent's heart race. He's right. Your pulse is thundering, but not entirely from fear. The thrill of being hunted makes heat pool low in your belly, and you feel yourself melt. Is that right? Well, I'm not feeling anything. Unless the spray from your missed shot counts. Did you ever think maybe I wasn't trying to hit you? Right. First year residents doing blood draws have better aim than you, so now you have to make it seem like missing was on purpose. From the darkness, a fired shot slams into your ass, painting the seat of your scrub pants a bright red and making the skin beneath it sting. Warmth blooms across your ass, drawing all of your attention south. In your ear, he chuckles. Keep this in mind, Gray. I can shoot you and your perfect ass from anywhere at any time, from any distance. And if you don't believe you? And if you don't believe you, well, I haven't missed spelling issues or just issues in general. And if I don't believe you? Dom draws in slow, shaky breath, and when he speaks, you hear the want dripping from his words. I guess I'll have to tap that ass all night. The growl in his voice sends a shiver down your spine as you sense something passing just behind you. You whirl around, firing at the shadows. But your shot goes wide, and suddenly your gun makes an ominous click. Damn it. Gun jammed, didn't it? I'm guessing you don't know how to clear it. Did I ask for your help? No. But I offered. Because without it, I win. So take the help. Bossing me around is what got us in this mess in the first place. Except I am the boss. You need me. Otherwise, this is going to be too easy. Do I detect a little reluctance to win? Admit it. You'd be bored if I just did what you said. Is that what you think? Everyone else jumps when you say jump. I think you're so tired of everyone being so predictable. You're around a corner, and out of the corner of your eye, you see a training gun perched on a low wall, as if left for you. As you pause to look at it, Dom growls in your ear. Pick it up, Gray. Go the opposite direction. Actually, I don't think it will. You know why? You turn away from the obvious trap, heading deeper into the shadows, but you can feel his presence getting closer. Because you can't control me, Dom. You slip around another corner, only to find yourself in a dead end, and when you turn, you're faced with the man himself. In an instant, his body pins you roughly to the wall, his gun hand gripping your wrist, the other around your waist. Defiant to the end. You wouldn't want me any other way. His hard line presses against your belly, and as he slowly grinds against you, you feel yourself slick and swollen. You can't your hips. You can't your hips. With a sly smile, Dom bows his head, pressing his lips to the shell of your ear, his voice a low, husky rumble. Game over, Gray. All that's left is to admit that I win. Dom moves against you, sending a wave of pleasure through you, and it's all you can do to form a coherent thought. Turn the tables. I'm not admitting a damn thing. You press the backup weapon against his chest, reveling in a surprised intake of breath. You're full of surprises, aren't you? More than you know. Now, about that apology. You fire at point-blank range, sending a spattering of red and paint across his chest. But tightened eyes and a grunt are the only evidence that the impact stings. Instead, he stares at you, the intensity only making you throb harder. I'm sorry. What was that? Don't push your luck, Gray. Even as he says it, the cold steel of his weapon presses to your overheated skin, sending shivers down your spine and ramping up your desire. The heat of his body against yours makes your head spin. As you lean in, your eyes flutter closed, only to hear Neil's voice chime in through Dom's earpiece. Us, we don't leave now, we're gonna be late. You pause, your lips a breath away from his. Duty calls. For now, but this isn't over, Gray. Not by a long shot. Pulls away, leaving you breathless and wanting as he guides you through the shadows and up the stairs, leaving the darkness behind. Welcome back. Neil shoots his brother a smug look from the control panel, and only then do you remember the monitors watching everything below. Dom shoots him a look, and instantly his smirk fades. Car's waiting outside. I guess I should get back to... You're not going anywhere. You're coming with us. What? No. I have to go back to the hospital, and you have to stop jerking me around. One, you're already here. So, I'm not jerking you around. Two... Dom nods to Neil, Teresa, and James, who move to flank you and open the door to the parking garage. Their faces solemn. Hey James, how's your knee? I can still kick that bad boy. It wasn't a request. Dom tosses down his weapon and gestures towards the exit, his eyes never leaving yours. After you, Doctor. Outside of the car, a window of the city awakens as Neil drives you, Dom, Teresa, and James deep into the city. As you exit the highway, Dom finally breaks the silence. When we get there, don't speak unless spoken to. Don't look at anyone too long, and don't listen too hard. Understood? you know what would make all those things exponentially easier? Ray. You can hear the exasperation in his voice, but it doesn't stop you from surging past him. Never wasn't here at all. So why don't you just let me go back to work, and then we'll both be happy. It's not going to make me happy, because I need you here. The same way you needed me at the training range? Before he can respond, the car rolls to a stop outside of a sprawling junkyard, and a figure appears to open Dom's door. Dominic Coyne. It's been too long. Been a few months, Evan. I didn't think you Betancourts were so sentimental. They shake hands, and as you exit the vehicle, Neil, Teresa, and James fall into protective formation, their hands on their weapons. They seem pretty tense. I wonder if the other soldiers are there. Your eyes scan the grounds, landing on the bed. I'm gonna go with Betancourt, actually. Betancourt soldiers. Check out the soldiers, look away. Check out the soldiers. Only to find their posture rigid, hands nearing their weapons. Something is definitely wrong. It's almost like they're waiting for any reason to... That's enough! Growl, and his voice settles low in your belly, the inherent danger of the reprimand making your pulse quicken. What? If you're gonna drag me here, I should at least know what I'm walking into. Someone's feisty. You'll have to forgive her. She's still new to the life in the family. Yeah, well, maybe if someone had briefed me properly. As the tension in the air thickens, as several more hands grip towards their weapons, and even Evan clears his throat. The rest of your crew, I know, but this one is new. Tom gives you a slight nod, and though it galls you to need his permission, you force yourself to remain civil. I'm Grey Gould, the Coyne family's new doctor. Doctor, interesting. The eyes linger on Dom for a moment, some unknown meaning passing between the two, and then he extends his hand towards you with a charming smile. It's a pleasure to meet you, Dr. Gould. As you shake his hand, Dom postures, stiffens beside you. If you're done with the pleasantries, do you mind telling me why the hell I'm here? Or are we waiting for your grandfather before we get down to actual business? Evan freezes, his smile slipping into a scowl. My grandfather trusts me to handle his affairs, but since you're in such a rush... One of your soldiers was caught stealing merchandise that fell off a truck. In our line of work, I'm not exactly surprised. We were, because the truck belonged to us. We think it's only fair we're reimbursed. Watches Dom's diplomatic mask slides into place, his posture relaxing despite the tension. But we both know that truck and everything on it was Ellis family property before you stole it. My mother was an Ellis. I'd hate to call my cousins in from Florida and let them know I'm being charged for goods that technically belong to them. They might decide to come pay you a visit instead. His face darkens at the thinly veiled threat as the tension between the two escalates, your hackles rise. I can't believe this argument is over stolen goods from the Ellises, who probably stole themselves. Someone should point out how stupid this is. Oh no. I'm gonna go ahead and go with, voice my opinion, because why not? If we're worried about what belongs to who, how do we know the Ellis family didn't steal those goods from someone else first? Ray. Inherent danger of your name slips his lips, spurs you on, feeding your need to see how far you can push him. I'm just saying, if we're gonna start a paper trail, we should probably get all the way back to the beginning. Casually, his hand finds the small of your bag, fingers digging in just shy of painful. Heat floods between your thighs at a touch, and you press them together, reveling in the slickness produced by his anger. God, I shouldn't find his anger this attractive. The doctor has a point, and I'm sure the original owners would be very interested to hear about their property's journey. The yard's atmosphere shifts as Evan leans forward, his eyes locked on Dom, and something about the glint in his eye catches your attention. He's coming on really strong, and the way he looks at Dom is almost resentful. My grandfather put me in charge of this territory, and I won't have the coins undermining our authority. Your grandfather gave you this territory to manage, not to start wars over. You say that as if your father did anything less for you. The difference is that my father put me in control to go handle business ventures abroad. Your grandfather won't hand you the reins to go as far as the bathroom. Oof. The barbed lands exactly were intended, and suddenly everything clicks. They're the same age, but Dom's already running his family while Evan's still trying to prove himself worthy of running his. I should expose his jealousy of Dom, play naive. Expose his jealousy. You break out in a harsh laugh, next to you Dom flinches. Oh, I get it. This isn't about stolen goods or territory, this is about a pissing contest to prove you're as good as Dom. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. Oh, please. I heard every word, and I can read between the lines. You're both young, both ambitious, but he's already got everything you're still trying to prove you deserve, and you can't stand it. Dom practically vibrates with rage, and the raw power radiating off of him makes you throb with need as his control fractures. Quiet. As you fight to hide how much his darkness affects you, Evan sneers. Those are mighty big exploitations for someone who should be seen and not heard. Extrapolations, excuse me. This meeting was meant to be a simple exchange, but your doctor's presence makes a mockery of us. At a court, I think it's time we teach Gray how to behave in family business. Without warning, Evan jolts suddenly, lunging across the empty space to grab you. Huh? At an instant, Dom steps in front of you, drawing his gun and aiming it point blank in Evan's face. Uh-oh. You in trouble now, senor. Touch her. Not drown everyone out here in your blood. Chaos erupts as Neil, Teresa, and James draw their guns, each finding their own targets among the Beta Court's soldiers. We got it, Dom. Why don't you go cool off? Break with me. Now. His grip is bruising as he drags you deeper into the junkyard. Give you 3 simple rules. Let go of me. Dom spins you around, his hand catching your jaw as he drags you forward, forcing you to meet his gaze. What don't you get? You're mine. It means when I speak, you listen. I say jump. And I say how high? Your flippancy makes him grind his teeth as he squeezes just a little harder, stepping in until you feel his thundering heartbeat against your chest. No. You just jump and pray it's high enough. For a moment, the two of you pause, chest heaving, and then... And what if I don't? Tom's eyes flicker to your lips, and despite the anger roaring in your chest, you can't deny the desire pulsing through your veins. Really? Yep, sorry, we know where this is going. Back away. You wheel yourself to focus, and as you step back, Dom lets out a shaky breath. Forget it. I need to get back in there and fix this. When we get in front of the Beta Court, say nothing. Yes, sir. As he leads you inside to a small conference room, you find the soldiers flanking an older man, with Evan relegated to the back of the room. Mr. Betacord, I was told you would be joining us. To what do I owe the honor? Arrogance of youth. I told my grandson to handle this matter, and somehow it leads to the disrespect of two great families. I've been threatened violence. I only responded in kind if you have your concerns with the way I run my family. Oh, I do. All the heads of the family do, which is why I'm calling for a 5-family parlay. Words hit Dom like a physical blow, though he maintains his composure. A parlay. Over this. Over everything. The stolen goods, disrespect, and most importantly, why Xander is suspiciously absent in all this. The parlay will be held next week, and I expect all family heads to attend, including your father. Won't that be fun? Without further ado, thank you all for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Otherwise, catch you all later. Peace out.